Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are dissecting a pretty intense what-if scenario that surfaced from the digital underground, thanks to 9net Action News. Now, they're known for tackling some really tough questions, and this one is about a theoretical spying operation that feels uncomfortably plausible. So this is it. This one question is our launchpad for the whole Explainer. And yeah, the scenario itself is hypothetical, but all the moving parts, the tech, the laws, the global alliances, they're all very, very real. So let's pull this thought experiment apart, piece by piece, and see just how it could, theoretically, work.
Right. So to be super clear, the source material here isn't claiming this is happening right now. Instead, they've framed it as a kind of war game, a thought experiment built on real-world components to see what's possible. Okay, let's dive in. First up, we need to talk about the engine at the heart of this whole thing. It's a shadowy but very real AI program run by the National Reconnaissance Office, the NRO, and its name is Sentient. You can think of Sentient as this huge artificial brain in the sky. The source material calls it an omnivorous analysis tool, which is just perfect. It's designed to literally eat a constant, overwhelming flood of global intelligence. We're talking satellite pictures, financial data, communication signals, you name it, and somehow makes sense of it all.
And it runs in this relentless, nonstop loop. It ingests the data, finds the strange little patterns a human would never catch, predicts what some bad actor might do next, and then, and this is the wild part, it can autonomously redirect other assets like spy satellites to go get a closer look, all on its own.
And that number right there, that's what makes Sentient just so incredibly powerful. You've got this one AI that can basically act as the central nervous system for more than 200 reconnaissance satellites. It's not just looking at one data stream. It's conducting an entire orchestra of eyes in the sky, turning them into one unified, intelligent network that can track pretty much anything, anywhere. Okay, so you have this unbelievably powerful tool that's supposed to be focused outward, on foreign threats. But the whole question here is about looking inward. How could that ever be legal? Well, the scenario argues that it all hinges on the next piece of our puzzle, global spy alliances. So you have the 14 Eyes. It's a huge intelligence sharing agreement that started with the core Five Eyes countries and then expanded to include these 9 other European nations. The whole point is to pool all their intelligence together to fight shared threats, like terrorism. Now look at how this is structured. You've got the inner circle, the Five Eyes, then the wider 14 Eyes group, and then you have these crucial third-party allies. Now in the 9 scenario, Israel's status here is the absolute linchpin. The theory goes that, as a close partner, but not a formal member, they could make a request that a full member couldn't. It's a potential blind spot in the rules. And this gets us to what critics call the loophole theory. Basically, it works like this. Country A isn't allowed to spy on its own people, so it asks its buddy, Country B, to do the spying for them. Country B collects the intel and then just shares it back. You see, it's a way to potentially get around domestic privacy laws.
So if an ally, like Israel in this hypothetical, were to make that formal request, how does it get the green light? What's the legal key that unlocks the door? According to this theory, that key is the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. You probably know it as FISA.
FISA was actually created way back after the Nixon scandals to put some rules on spying. But it's changed a lot over the years, especially in 2008 when they added Section 702. That's the part that allows for collecting communications from non-Americans who are overseas, all without a traditional warrant.
Now, these warrants, they get approved by a secret court, the FISA court. And according to the source material, this court historically almost never says no. It has rejected such a tiny fraction of applications that critics have basically called it a rubber stamp.
And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the legal argument. See, a normal warrant for a crime needs probable cause that a crime was committed. Simple enough. But a FISA warrant works on a totally different standard. It just needs probable cause that the target is an agent of a foreign power. It's not about crime, it's about foreign intelligence. And that different purpose, that's the key that could hypothetically unlock this whole thing. Of course, for a scenario this Extreme. You need a really powerful motivation. And the ninth conscious source doesn't just pull one out of thin air. It grounds this whole hypothetical in a very real-world threat that security officials are already losing sleep over. What the source points to is kind of a perfect storm. You've got law enforcement officially calling this a domestic terror risk. You have a documented massive spike in hate incidents. And you have extremist groups using new tools like generative AI to just flood the internet with their poison. It's gotten so bad that even the State Department is pushing for more intel sharing between countries to fight it.
So let's put it all together. You have a godlike AI. You have a global spy alliance. You have a potential legal key. And you have a very real, very urgent justification. You combine all of that, and you get to the ultimate conflict, the double-edged sword of modern security. And this is the fundamental problem, isn't it? On one side, you have the promise of protection, the idea of using this incredible tool to predict and maybe even stop real-world, hate-fueled violence before it happens. But on the other side, you have the panopticon, the danger of setting a precedent for mass surveillance that could easily be turned against protesters, dissenters, or anyone, really.
The 9-Crynet Exposé lays out all the pieces of the puzzle, but it doesn't give us an easy answer. It just forces us to stare the question right in the face. When you're dealing with a real and present danger, is a system like this a necessary shield? Or is it the blueprint for a surveillance nightmare? In a world where technology is making anything possible, the only thing left to decide is what we're willing to permit.